My name is Katie, and sorry about my voice. I haven't been feeling too well. But, anyways, today I'll be exploring how personal genomics is reshaping our understanding of health, ancestry, and identity. Throughout this presentation, I'll walk through how genetic testing works, what it can reveal, and the ethical concerns that come with sharing our DNA. My goal is to show both the power and the responsibility that come with personal genomics. Okay, and here is the intro to personal genomics. So, personal genomics is transforming modern bio by revealing genetic predispositions and inherited traits. Companies like MyHeritage and resource from NHGRI help people learn about their ancestry and potential health risk and biological traits. Today, I'll break down how these tests works, what they can tell us, and why understanding the science behind them matter for making informed choices. Here we have the understanding personal genomics. So, direct-to-consumer companies analyze DNA variations to provide ancestry and health insights. NHGRI explains that genome sequencing helps people understand their own biology and make informed decisions. OpenStats also defines SNP as a variation in a single base pair. These small variations can reveal health risk, family connections, and inherited traits. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. So here we have the structure of DNA. To understand genetic testing, we need to understand DNA itself. DNA double helix structure and base pairing A with T and C with G create the foundation for genetic analysis. PCR techniques amplify specific DNA segments, allowing the labs to scan thousands of markers. This base pairing fidelity is what makes ancestry matching and health risk prediction possible. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Here we have the central dogma and trait prediction. So the central dogma shows how DNA becomes RNA and then proteins. This flow of info is essential for predicting traits and disease risk. When mutations occur, they can change how proteins are built, which may alter traits or increase health risk. Understanding this pathway helps explain why certain genetic variations matter and how they influence our biology. And go to the next slide. Here we have the DNA collection process by MyHeritage DNA. So most direct-to-consumer companies use a simple cheek swab to collect DNA. Each sample is barcoded and tracked to protect integrity. In the lab, DNA is extracted and analyzed across the thousands of genetic markers. This process is what allows companies to generate ancestry reports and trait predictions and health risk assessments. I'm going to go to the next slide. 1 second. Okay, sorry. Here we have the major benefits of DTC. So, direct to consumer testing offers several benefits. First, personal empowerment. People gain knowledge about their genetic makeup and can make informed health decisions. Second, ancestry and trait access users can explore family history and inherited characteristics. Third, early health risk awareness. Testing can reveal predispositions, certain conditions, and allowing for proactive lifestyle choices. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Here we have the major risk of DTC testing with direct NHGRI quotes. So let's get into it. Privacy risk. NHGRI states that genetic data raises concerns about privacy data security and potential misuses. So what does this mean? This means that once your DNA is stored, and unauthorized access could expose sensitive information. Irreversible DNA exposure. NHGRI explains that once genetic data is shared, it cannot be taken back or changed. This preeminence raises ethical concerns for both individuals and their families. So let's get to the next one, misinterpretation and results. NHGRI warned that consumers may misunderstand or misinterpret their genetic risk without professional guidance. This aligns with a study showing that about 40% of the users misread the results. So, with that, these risks show why genetic testing requires caution, education, and clear consent. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. Here we have ethical considerations in genetic testing. So, ethical concerns center around ownership, usage, and identity. Many consumers don't have clear ownership rights over their genetic data. Companies may use DNA for their research without explicit consent. And learning about genetic predispositions can affect how people view themselves. These issues show why ethical guidelines and transparency are essential. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Here we have personal reflection on genetic testing. So, anyways, before taking Bio 101, I mainly saw genetic testing as a fun way to explore ancestry. This course helped me understand DNA structure, gene expression, and mutations, which deepened my appreciation for how complex genetic testing really is. I also became more aware of this ethical concern and the performance of DNA data. Overall, my perspective shifted from curiosity to informed caution. I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Here we have the unanswered questions. So, there are still important questions we need to address. Should consumers legally own genetic data? What are the long-term implications for individuals and families? And how do we ensure ethical use of genetic information? These questions show that personal genomics is still evolving and society needs clear guidelines to protect people's rights. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Here is the key takeaways. So, in summary, personal genomics offers powerful insights into health and ancestry, but it also raises serious ethical concerns. As the genetic testing becomes more common, we need stronger data security, clearer consumers' rights, and ongoing public discussions. Responsible genomic exploration requires balancing benefits with risk. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. Here are my references. So I know you're wondering about the images, but I truly found these like through the PowerPoint. I'll show you in a second what I mean. So, oh, yeah, I'll show you at the end. But go back. Here is my human AI collaboration statement. So I use generative AI tools to help organize my outline. sorry, refining wording and format, scientific explanations, all content decisions and final edits were made by me and no external data or images were generated by AI. So I know it says I use generative AI tools. The only generative AI tool I used was Copilot, and that was about it. So that's my presentation. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean about the photos. Okay, so if I do this and click on change pictures, search on web, let's just do a random one really quick. Let's do Apple. Let's wait. Where is? See, it doesn't show like the citation, so I don't know how to like change it or, you know, I don't know how to get the citation. But that's where I like find my um photos from. Let me change this back. Anyways, thank you for doing your best to listen to me and taking it all the way to the end of the presentation. So thank you so much. I hope you have a good night.